everyone, Kevin Leonard Giebert here, and welcome to another edition of Rock Your Financial Plan. And this edition I call Life, Moolah, and Lyrics, because we're going over one of the 14 songs on my album, Unlock My Happy. Now, you might ask what Moolah is. It is actually an invented word. It's probably not in the Webster's Dictionary yet, but it's Moolah money and C'est la vie en français, with a tagline of living your life and money on purpose. Your purpose could be your why, could be your passion. And I combine money coaching and life coaching together. And as a financial planner, as a stand-up comic, life coach, and now singer-songwriter, I'm going to be interviewing people about the lyrics. Yes, did you know that there are lyrics in songs? Yes, and until I started listening to until I wrote some lyrics, I was listening to some songs back in the 80s that I knew the lyrics, I knew the tune, but I didn't really hear the lyrics before. And we're going to be going over the lyrics of each song. This episode is What If I Live That Long? And we'll be talking about the background of this song, but the Coles Notes version is on a piece of paper. One day I wrote down all the chapter titles of my book, Financial Photographs, How to Talk to Your Family About Money, added a few rhymes in there, and really focused on the chapter of my great-grandmother that lived to 107. And she used to call me Seven because she couldn't say Kevin. So 7, Kevin, and 107 rhymed. And I wondered, everyone's asking, well, what if I do live that long to 107? The sayings before, the days outlive the money each month and so forth. And I'm all about thinking of dreams when you're at the end of your life rather than the what ifs. So today we're going to talk about What If I Live That Long, one of the songs on the album Unlock My Happy, found on Spotify, iTunes, and digitally wherever wherever music is sold. And special guest today is Elise Russell from PonyFriday. So let's get to the interview. Talk to you soon. Welcome, everyone, to an episode of Rock Your Financial Plan, where Kevin Leonard Giebert here as FP DJ, that is Financial Planner DJ, is going to spin some tunes to help you live your life and money on purpose. And today I have the honor, the pleasure, and the honor and pleasure of having the one, the only Elise Russell from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, joining me as we talk about one of the songs on my album, Unlock My Happy, called What If I Live That Long? Welcome, Elise. How are you today?
Good. Nice to be here, Kevin.
Welcome. Well, the question is, we are born, right? And then we don't know, what if we live that long?
Yeah.
What comes to mind when someone asks you, how long are you going to live, Elise?
I have great genetics, and my grandpa just turned 90, still lives on his own, playing golf, curling, driving, gardening. So I think there's a good chance I'm going to live a long time.
Is that just 9 to 5 on a Monday for him?
This is 9 to 5 on a Monday. Yeah, he is something else, that man.
Yeah. Well, I, as a financial planner, I had this book that I had published about 7 years ago called Financial Photographs, How to Talk to Your Family About Money. And I thought, since I was getting into the online courses, and I believe that every course needs a theme song. Okay. So I was wanting to re-release the book. And one day when I was writing some lyrics, I took the book, wrote down all the chapter titles on a piece of paper, with the help of Rhyme Zone, with the help of like thesaurus and, wordsmithing, and came up with this song called What If I Live That Long? And all the lyrics are based on that. Now, I had a great grandmother who, when she lived to 107. And so I thought, well, one of the chapters is about her. She called me Seven because she couldn't say the K, the consonant, for some reason. So I was called Seven. Seven, Kevin, 107 is brilliant for what I call ABBA-sizing a song. Like the ABBA singer, but it's A-B-A-B, A-B-B-A, A-B-C-A, all those funky rhymes, right? Or in a poem, right? Because a song is only a poem until music is added, right? So I thought, hey, what if I live that long? So I thought today that we'd listen to the song, right? And then kind of dive deep into the lyrics to see how that would affect Elise Russell from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Also, as the CEO, the expert, the head honcho at PonyFriday too. So, and the woman that I know always loves to decorate her door because you are a star to me in my business and knowing you for a while, and I'm sure you are a star to many. So let's take a break, listen to this song, and when we're back, we're going to dive deep into a few verses of What If I Live That Long? Take a listen.
My great grandma called me Seven, cause she just couldn't say Kevin. She lived to be 107. What if I live that long? Many times in life we wrestle decisions with what to do. It is much more than a cap and gown, that ceiling you may want to break through. I like to ride the roller coaster. Fun are the ups and scary are the downs. There are many things in life we go through. I need my feet on solid ground. My great grandma called me Seven, cause she just couldn't say Kevin. She lived to be 107. What if I live that long? What can I do? Cause I don't want my life to be a lemon. What if I live that long? I wanna call in retired. What if the numbers don't match? Is the risk too much to be taken? Does another plan have to hatch? When I go out for a drive, I get to the intersection. The light will be green, amber, or red. Do I need to make a split decision? My great grandma called me Seven, cause she just couldn't say Kevin. She lived to be 107. What if I live that long? What can I do? Cause I want my life to be a wonderful expression. What if I live that long? What if I could have? What if I would have? What if I should have? Is it a life I love? Making decisions on a teeter totter, or having to move the ducks around. Can't wait for the paycheck to get here. Don't want the dead as I always feel drowned. Run the race and you may fail. Walk the course and you may succeed. Save for a rainy day. I need to know how much I need. My great grandma called me Seven, cause she just couldn't say Kevin. She lived to be 107. What if I live that long? Life is an art of balance. You need a plan that is strong. Leave a legacy of wisdom. What if I live that long?
We're back. And Elise, that song, would you agree, at least because we're here on video, that it could be Grammy material?
I don't see why not, especially if there's a category for financial music.
Yes, I know. You are just so kind. Yes, we're on camera. Yeah. Don't tell me what you really mean. But no, I would say it is more like edutainment, right?
Sure,
When I
yeah.
was writing, I like listening to music all the time, all different genres. And it's kind of, inspiration from the 80s, of course.
Mhm.
And the 90s and the 2000s, independent and all that stuff. But it's little Bare Naked Ladies, lyrics, writing kind of thing, because they have some fun. Weird Al Yankovic, because my, little bit of sprinkle of Weird Al on there, because, I do some stand-up comedy. So, but the chorus, of course, is my great grandmother called me 7 because she couldn't say Kevin. She lived to 107. What if I live that long? Okay. And my book, which this song is based on, Financial Photographs, each chapter was talking about a life lesson, picture from my childhood, something that I did, that sort of thing. So you chose the verses, and we'll have them up on the screen here. I like to ride the roller coaster. Fun are the ups and scary are the downs. There are many things in life we go through. I need my feet on solid ground. So if we dive deep into the lyrical neighborhood of this song, are there roller coasters in Calgary?
There are no, well, no, that's no, I was going to say no, but there is one at Callaway Park just outside of Calgary. So that I think is the only one in Calgary.
Yeah.
The closest one would be at West Edmonton Mall. But
Okay.
it's funny. This reminds me of being on a field trip to La Ronde in Montreal when I was, I think, 12. And I think it's one of the biggest wooden roller coasters. And that was definitely outside of my comfort zone, especially because I get motion sick. But thankfully, we're only talking about metaphorical roller coaster.
Well, at the PNE, the Pacific National Exhibition in Vancouver, there is one of the oldest wooden roller coasters.
Okay. Yeah.
In Canada or the world or whatever. And there's actually groups that go around to visit the different roller coasters. But I have been in the one in West Ed Mall, right?
Yes.
But it's not really wooden, it's more steel.
Oh yeah, that one is. I've only been on the baby one. I've never been on the real one in West Ed. I get motion sick, so even after they let you go around twice on the little one, but I only go once.
Oh, okay. You stop and peeve everybody off because you got to
get me off.
Yeah, no, this famous roller coaster, I've been on there many times, not for many years, but that was the illustration because you're going up, right? Everything's easy. Life is fun. And then all of a sudden, you see the first downside. And then the curve, and then the curve, and the dip and dive. And not West Ed Mall, I think, has a 360, but wooden roller coaster, I don't think it's a 360. They might have like a 359 or something like that.
Yeah, I feel like you can't on a wooden roller coaster. I think there are some engineering restrictions on that.
No, these days. But how would you say life has been a roller coaster for you so far?
Well, I'm an entrepreneur, so there are many, many ups and many downs, and the ups can be exhilarating and overwhelming, and the downs can be steeper and longer than you predicted. So I think that that's one thing that if you work for somebody and you have a steady paycheck and you're on a salary, you just don't experience those same kinds of things in your employment. And that's definitely where I've experienced my biggest, emotional roller coasters outside of, say, early dating.
Well, in life, some, peachy cleary, whatever that saying is, roller coaster, you're going up and everything's fine. What could happen to me?
What could happen?
And then all of a sudden, you might be at the back of the roller coaster, not the front, right? So you may see other people starting.
Right.
Now, or you're at the front and there is no warning.
I feel like in business as an entrepreneur, you're at the front.
Mm-hmm.
You're experiencing that dive. You don't get warning. It's just happening. And I think that, like as somebody who I feel like is fairly risk averse in most of my life. I don't party hard. I don't drink or do drugs or anything. And I'm pretty like even keel. I think everyone has their poison, and entrepreneurship is my poison of choice.
Yeah, because I guess as an entrepreneur, if you were, say you're working at a big company, the owner is at the front of the roller coaster, then the vice president, then the vice president, and the employees at the end, right? Or the customers at the end, really, right? And
Absolutely.
when you're wearing many hats, you want to be happy, right? You want to enjoy the process, but if you talk to mentors or you talk to other people or whatever, there are going to be ups and there are going to be downs. In my business, my life, there's been ups and downs too, right? When you start something from scratch, it's only going to go up, right? But then reality is usually life is not like in school, like it's not textbook, right? Just like entrepreneurship is not textbook. Right?
Well, and logically, you do feel like things just build off of each other, like you feel like you're building a wall out of bricks, whatever you're doing, but you do logically, like you think that things are just going to continue to grow and get better. And that's not always the case.
Yeah, because, the next layer, because of course we're getting into it, fun are the ups and scary are the downs, but I'm sure there's different levels of fun and different levels of scary.
Well, okay. So I was thinking about this recently about your risk tolerance, right? So a little up and a little down might be scary at the beginning, but as you progress and you experience more adversity, that can seem like something that was so small. So you might experience that exact same thing again, but you won't even register it as an up or a down. It's just part of the course. So it takes bigger and bigger things to create that anxiety of holy moly, like we went up and now we're going down, and how far is this down and how long will it take to climb out of it? Because if with a roller coaster, you are climbing slowly up, and then you pitch down quickly.
And it seems to be that the big drop is at the beginning, but then the curves that are faster, right? If you don't have your seatbelt on, you might fall out of the roller coaster. I'm sure in the early days,
Well, I think if you think about business, that's a lot of startups just give up. They quit, they cash out, they sell off. And that's what happens, right? When you go into that dip and it's swooping around and you decide that is more risk than you're willing to tolerate, that you've hit your tolerance and you're out.
Yeah, because usually, when you fill out like a risk tolerance, it's a number based on questions, right? So if you're filling out for investments, you're going to be potentially want to take ability to take risk on paper. The older you are, the more money you make, the longer you need the money, the longer until retirement, the shorter time in retirement, all those things, right? But then, does your risk match your personality and your sleep well at night, right?
Right.
Because
how relaxed are you?
Because sleeping, REM sleep, in and out of sleep, do you get a good sleep, all that stuff, right? So, sleeping is a roller coaster too. But at the end of the day, I think both of us can agree that the bigger chances or risks that we take that might be scary could reap the rewards more fun, right? But we are not guaranteed that.
Well, I think that's a great example when we're talking about money and investments. I mean, oftentimes there is a lot of volatility. And if you have the advantage of investing for longer because you don't need the money and you are chill about letting the market have its ups and downs, and you don't cash out when it's in a dive, then you can potentially benefit greatly from the upcoming ups and downs, because historically the market goes up. And if you think about businesses tend to grow and evolve. And if you think about most businesses, I think they say like 20 years is kind of like to build like a good solid platform. And we're living in such a fast-paced world that we think that, oh, that startup is supposed to make money and cash out in 18 months or 5 years. And the people who are silently building for 2 decades and have something to show for it because they weathered all of the storms that you get in 2 decades. And the brands that we love, a lot of them are almost a century old.
Yeah. And 2 is that I think from a business owner, there might be stages of your entrepreneur ownership or whatever that has its own roller coaster.
Yeah.
Maybe some, on paper, PonyFriday could be, a great up roller coaster ride, right? But Elise personally has to go on the mini roller coaster once.
Yeah.
So that's a good analogy where the business could have a different roller coaster, than life, right? And your life roller coaster could inhibit or help your business roller coaster.
Absolutely. So well said. I mean, I just think about, I had shoulder surgery 1 year and thankfully they work now. It's good. But that was really hard. As my physical body is trying to recover and I'm trying to run a business, like disastrous, right? And I think if I had somebody else driving my business at different stages, I could have driven faster. I could have gone through more and grown exponentially because there was somebody with the better capabilities in the driver's seat. But because it's always me, and sometimes there are things in life, I had, a dog passed away. Well, that's crushing emotionally. And I'm not able to show up with the same enthusiasm and spunk and, gumption that you need to keep going. And I think that that's what we forget is when you have a small business and it's riding on, 1 or 2 people, that it's very difficult to continue moving forward fluidly. It actually reminds me, I had manual transmission cars when I was growing up, and
brave soul.
There are fewer and fewer of them around now.
But story about that.
I had them for like the first probably 2 decades of my life, and like as a driver. And I remember taking my other grandpa for a ride. This is the grandpa chat. And he said, you have to do your transitions more smoothly. Like he was criticizing that. And, that's what happens. I feel like that in business, that I have to mature my driving style to be able to move more smoothly forward instead of kind of a jerky stop go because I'm small.
Yeah, because I think too is that I think even in Vancouver, well, the thing is maintenance is another thing, right? Now, the roller coasters have to be, stopped for a while to make sure that those turns are safe, right?
Yes.
So, you just can't go on and say, whoa, right? But sometimes in life and as an entrepreneur, you do have to take chances.
Yes.
Right? And not that it's a live or die chance, because on a roller coaster, you fall, ouch. But maintenance is a big thing, and depending on where you're at, if you have to upgrade or you have to have a lot of capital infusion, or you have service-based industry, creative industry like yourself, is that maybe the maintenance is, the upkeep in your knowledge or technology or whatever, right? And that you don't want to, it comes with inflation. Maintenance might increase the price of the roller coaster ticket, right? But that's
There's a couple things. So I was thinking about that today because, if we talk about that creeping up on the roller coaster, sometimes that's inflation. I know that during the pandemic, things cost a lot more and you're, trying to get business and people expect things for less because they're struggling. But also when you're talking about learning technology, a lot of times it takes months or even years to gain skill sets you could have used today.
Yeah.
And when you're learning them, sometimes you learn a lot of things that you can't apply yet because you don't know enough. So you've learned a lot, but not enough to apply it effectively. So that can be very frustrating because you needed the tools yesterday, but it's going to take you X amount of time to learn it. And I think that that's why a lot of people do jump off the roller coaster of entrepreneurship. And even in relationships, when they encounter a really difficult phase, they're like, well, is it worth it for me to invest to evolve through this, or am I better off going elsewhere and resetting?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, as an entrepreneur, you're promised that you can make your own hours, sip drinks on the beach.
Okay, so you can make your own hours as long as you're working like 20 a day.
Exactly. Like in a couple of years, there might be like sitting on a beach in Miami and your client is right in front of you via technology with whatever, right? So one thing with roller coasters is that they're 30 seconds, 45 seconds or whatever, right?
Yes.
And then it stops, you take off the seatbelt, and then you are on solid ground.
Well, you probably feel woozy and you're motion sick for a long time after.
Yeah. But getting back to the fourth line of the one verse, it's I need my feet on solid ground. So in business, PonyFriday, or even as Elise Russell, why do you need your solid ground? Or
I think stability is required everywhere, and how you find it varies from person to person and probably at different points in your life. I'm fortunate that I have a very stable family base and I can just continue going back to that I do not have volatile relationships in my life. If I think about significant others and friends, like they are steadfast. And if I don't have that in new relationships that I'm developing with potential friends and potential relationships, I find that they fizzle because my expectation from a relationship is very, very steadfast, because in other areas of my life, I'm very volatile and I can't afford to be volatile everywhere, because you do need stability. And what are you building the framework of your roller coaster on? You have to have a good foundation. And for me, that's family. For other people, it's going to be something else. Maybe some people have a trust fund. Their business is built on a big pile of money, so they can have a lot of volatility. For me, my stability really is my relationships.
Yeah, because there's a reason why I call this rock your financial plan and not sand your financial plan. Okay? Simply because, if you build your financial plan on sand, if you walk on sand, there's really, the water comes along, that's another song on the album, but that's another interview. It's called Colin. In the backyard when I was young, there was a box full of sand, and the rains came along. So anyways, with the financial planning, you want to build your house on rocks. Firm foundation, not the sand, right?
Absolutely.
So hence rock your financial plan, right? So what is, in closing, what would be some of the rock star perspectives from the one, the only CEO of PonyFriday, Elise Russell?
Honestly, if you're going to build your foundation on relationships, you better maintain them. You better show up for people. I can't emphasize that enough. Is just that when you expect people to be there for you when you need them, you have to be there for them. And that's not easy. I mean, sometimes you don't have much to give and you still have to show up. And volatility in any aspect of life is exciting. It makes it a lot more interesting. You just have to be willing to see it through. It's kind of like you know when you look at the weather app and you can see, oh, the rain is going to last about 4 hours, or we're going to have snow tomorrow around 10 a.m. That's awesome, but you can't always predict that and know what's coming. You don't get a 14-day forecast in business. So you kind of have to be ready with your umbrella, your rain boots, your winter coat, and you just have to be ready to go. If it's beach weather, you got to have your shorts on and just be ready to roll with it and try to be excited about what's coming instead of always dreading what's around the corner.
Yeah. So, Elise, what is Pony Friday?
Pony Friday is a motivational lifestyle brand, which sounds all kind of like hokey and what is that? And it's been evolving. It's always going to be evolving, but our most recent kind of iteration of the brand is an app called Kiss My Pony, and it's designed for personal growth and creating that foundation of individuals and relationships that you can go to for stability. So if you don't have stability in a family or your personal relationships, there's a community of people that are going to show up and be there so that you can feel like, oh, I have that resilience and steadfastness through a community that I've joined to be intentional about showing up for myself and evolving. So that's really fun for me. That's probably the biggest thing, because as I age, some of my key pillars in my family are not going to be able to support me the same way that I have relied on them.
Yeah.
For.
And not to put you on the spot, but
Yeah.
we are both have the commonality of being an author. So
Yes.
what's the name of your book?
It is, wait, I'll grab it.
Yeah. Sorry, I should have.
No, it's ready.
Yeah.
It's called Behave Boldly.
Behave boldly.
Your dreams won't chase themselves. And this book is kind of my humiliating first 7+ years as an entrepreneur. And I say humiliating because it's the stuff nobody wants to talk about. And I would never have written this book if I started writing it today, because I'm no longer the person who is captured in these pages. And that was really important to me, because it is a capture of some of the roller coaster that I have gone through so far.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. Elise, it was a pleasure to take along the roller coaster ride with you, even though, you know, your version is the mini one. But, you know, maybe one day when I'm in Calgary, we can go on the or drive to Edmonton, you know, north to Edmonton. We can go West Edmonton Mall and go to the roller coaster. Or if you're in Vancouver, you know, I'll treat you to a ride on the mini roller coaster there. So
I feel like if this was a truth or dare, I'd be like, Kevin, I'll take truth.
Well, it's fun. It's
I'm
good.
Sure.
You know, it's getting updated right now. So as far as I know, so
perfect.
Yeah,
perfect.
Exactly. So well, thank you very much, Elise. I will have all your information partly at the end of the video and at the bottom right here. But this is Elise Russell from Pony Friday, and thanks for coming along. And I hope, you know, we both live that long.
Oh, I feel like we will, Kevin. We will.
Okay.
Thanks for having me.
See ya.
Bye.